Lundgren brothers are moving a small herd of reindeer. The animals are easily stressed, so the Lundgrens speak very little as they work. It's the beginning of summer in northern Sweden, and the herd is surrounded by a cloud of mosquitoes.
Reindeer can't be tricked. They're independent animals and have a kind of built-in compass. They know what they want and what they don't want. It's like a negotiation. Force doesn't work at all. The reindeer are the ones who set the rhythm for the workday.
Now the reindeer are being forced to abandon their winter pastures. It's a hard blow for the Lundgrens and other breeders in the area.
The Chernobyl disaster was very difficult for my family. I was a child when it happened. The entire reindeer industry was affected by it. But the new wind farm here in the region is going to be even worse.
Arvidsjaur is located at the heart of the part of Sweden where the indigenous Sami people live. They're among Europe's last remaining reindeer herders. The region is densely forested and only sparsely populated. An industrial park with up to 1,100 windmills is under construction here on an area twice the size of Stockholm. German companies are also participating. Sweden wants to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels, but its wind power industry is underdeveloped. The Swedish government placed hardly any restrictions on the selection of the site.
We have to share the region with the Sami. The conditions here are very good for our company. We need access to wind, and the wind up here is very good. The region also has the necessary electricity grid connections we need.
The changes threaten the livelihood of the Sami community here. The Lundgren family have been reindeer herders for generations, and their children learn herding at a young age. Now their way of life is threatened with extinction.
We'll have to change everything if we can. Our traditional methods wouldn't work any longer. There's no telling if the reindeer will survive the change.
It's an enormous risk. Even if we give the reindeer feed, we don't know whether we can still sell the meat as a high-quality product. And breeding our animals in an enclosure might make them susceptible to disease.
No one knows exactly how the massive wind farm will affect the region. One thing is already clear: it will occupy at least 1/4 of the Sami's pastures.
We're concerned that some of the companies building the wind park here, like the German companies, for example, aren't really aware of how it will affect the area, how radically it will change things here. This information is probably being kept from them, just to make sure the deal goes ahead.
The Sami want compensation for their pastures and the damage to their way of life, but the operators don't want to commit a share of the profits. The Sami are at a disadvantage in negotiations because the Sapmi region, as the Sami call their traditional homeland, doesn't belong to them.
The traditional land use rights have existed for many years, and it's the system we've been living with. But we have to adapt to current reality. Of course, the herders need to be properly compensated. But if the parties can't reach an agreement, the wind farm operators will take precedence.
The traditional Sami villages are an important part of the region's cultural heritage. But because of land use laws, the Sami have often been forced to abandon their homes and lands to farmers and industrial investors. The Sami community has resolved to take on the ambitious wind power project. They've found allies in the European Union, which has called upon Sweden to recognize the rights of the Sami to their traditional homelands.
The EU is the guarantor of our safety and rights. and bears responsibility on this issue. This is one of the last unspoiled regions in Europe. Sweden needs help. They've demonstrated they can't properly manage the region, or us, and our place in the system.
Ironically, green energy is now endangering traditional cultures and landscapes in Europe's northernmost region. Sweden is known for its commitment to minority and indigenous rights, and now the Sami of Arvidsjaur are demanding their share. All right.